Hey everybody, welcome to Hit Rewind. This episode's another perfect concert playlist, and we're hitting all the white bands. Um, look, that's awkward.
That's awkward.
um, though every member of these bands, I believe, is white, but that's not the point. It's going to be Great White, Whitesnake, and White Lion is our episode. So I think did we do like Black and Blue or something like back in the 70s? We did a
I
color
think
episode
so.
like Deep Purple and Black Oak, Arkansas, or something like that. I can't remember. We did a color one. Blue Oyster Cult, something like that.
Yep.
Um, the last episode I led, so Ron gets to lead this episode. Who is your opener?
Great White. I did not. That is not a really good Doc Brown impression. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, I didn't know.
Um,
Great White Marty.
Great White. You're gonna, oh, yeah.
Are you having a stroke? What's going on? I don't know.
No offense to Christopher Lloyd. I love you, man.
Yeah.
Not like he's gonna be listening to this, but you never know.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm starting off with Great White. Now, honestly, this is one of them where I was into all of them growing up, so trying to pick one that was going to be my opener out of these three was a little harder for me. But Great White kind of just barely eked out the other two. So,
Yeah. I mean, well, before we
um,
start, actually, this is the thing about this. We were talking about this when we were kind of ending the new wave, modern rock kind of guys. Is that eventually we're going to hit like the hair metal, glam metal, what do we call it? LA metal? I don't know what you call it, hard rock. Um, when you listen to metal like Metallica and Anthrax, this doesn't seem like metal. Very, it's kind of hard. Um,
right.
but I really didn't get any of these. I didn't listen to any of this stuff. I had at the very end, I had like Flesh and Blood from Poison. I had Cherry Pie from Warrant, and I think Dr. Feelgood. I had that one. That's it. That's all I ever had. I heard some of it. My mom had Theater of Pain, but we didn't listen to the stuff. I only knew the stuff that was on radio. I mean, we didn't have Def Leppard, if that tells you anything. We just didn't listen to this kind of music. So a lot of this is either like from being around you, I would hear some more, or like later down the road, finally getting over I used to hate this stuff. Remember, I would talk shit about this all the time, like, ugh. And you kind of learn to let go of a lot of that kind of stuff. At least if you're trying to be a better person, more well-rounded. Like I like jazz now, okay? It just is, and I'm
There
starting
you
to.
go, man.
I find a lot to enjoy in this stuff. Is some of it fluffy? Yeah, I would say Great White is probably the fluffiest of the three bands, where a lot of it doesn't seem to be really trying to get into something important emotionally, where it's just kind of like having fun. It's the Poison Curse, I think. They're probably the most famous of the kind of the fluffy bands.
I will say of the three bands here. No, wait. Was it Whitesnake? I'll take that back. Whitesnake's the one I actually saw in live. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
I'd seen Great White. Um, excuse me. Yeah, I'd say the older you get, the more you can read into the nuance, the lyrics, and what have you. If you can look beyond the hair and the makeup and the high heels that men were wearing, and it just it
Yeah.
just excuse me. Oh man, I don't know what's going on with my throat right now. But you start listening to the lyrics, and they start to speak to you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when I listened to it back in the day, it was. I don't want to sound shallow by any means, but a lot of the music I listened to back in the day was because a lot of other people listened to it, and it seemed like the thing to do, and the beat was good, so
Right.
I'm on board. But as you get older, you start to read deeper into things.
Yeah.
So
And plus your ear becomes more sophisticated. You're looking for something different.
definitely.
Yeah. All
But
right,
Def
we
Leppard's
delayed
one of
enough
those I
though.
wish I would have seen live, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, but
All
it is
right.
what it is.
Your Great White playlist. Sorry.
My great white playlist is all right. As always, guys, I don't have any particular order. A couple of these I tried to put in a little bit of an order, but I don't think Great White was one of those. So I've got 10 songs from them. I didn't go overboard on this one. I thought, I would say going into Great White, I thought I had a lot more songs that I enjoyed. So it wasn't hard to put them in the beginning, I guess, now that I think about it. So Rolling Stone is my first song. Moving on to Street Killer, Hold On, Face the Day, Save Your Love, The Angel Song, Call It Rock and Roll, I Want You, Big Time, and Let Me In.
Wow, you didn't go for the big the once bitten twice shy. I'm shocked.
Well, that's the other thing that comes with getting older. You're a little more selective on the kind of music you listen to.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
and I'm not saying all the music I listened to back in the day was a bad song or anything, or for anybody else. It's just you're a little more selective.
I'm curious if Man of War is something I could listen to now, like we did when we were
It's still
teenagers.
very cheesy. I
Yeah.
still listen to it from time to time. But it was meant to be. It was meant to be kind of campy. So
Yeah.
as long as you go into it knowing that ahead of time, you're good. So
The my playlist is I start off with Call It Rock and Roll. Is that the best choice? I'm not sure, but I think the vibe, is enough to get you going. Rock Me, All Over
yeah.
Now, Save Your Love. Oh man, I did this out. I should have did this differently. I am going to do it differently. Just because I wrote it that way, I'm going to say it differently. Uh, Wasted Rock Ranger. There's no way on earth they'll ever play this live. It's too goofy. It's too silly. It's like a cowboy song, like a singing cowboy kind of song. Did you get to listen to that one?
Say it again.
Wasted Rock Ranger.
That one doesn't sound familiar.
But it's like a hey y'all boom doom da doom doo da doo da doo doo. It's so bizarre that it's even in there.
Well, that sounds like a live gimmick. Why not?
Maybe. I mean, it did work for Tesla, so.
Right.
Stick It. Once Bitten, Twice Shy, and then I'm gonna have the Big Goodbye be their closing number. I had that in the middle until just now.
The Big Goodbye. I had that as my closer as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And I didn't put it in my list.
Well, there's only so many you can fit in here.
That's right. Well, I had 10, so we're good.
All right. So who's your mid?
Well, I wouldn't call it, not because they are mid, because honestly, the Pride album, I listened that to, I'm surprised it still plays to this day if it does. My cassette of White Lion's Pride. That was the first White Lion album I ever owned.
I think that's one for most people. I can't remember the name of the first album all of a sudden. Whatever it was, it didn't sell that well. It's this one that was the huge one. The second one did okay. And it's so weird. By 91, I was reading into this. They came back from their tour, and he just said, I'm tired, guys. The last album didn't sell. The label didn't push it. Let's just give up. They're like, oh, okay. And they all just quit. And he was like, I can't believe nobody put up a fight. I think we're all just burnt out. Yeah.
Maybe it was a test.
Well, also, it was the period where nobody was promoting these bands and giving them big tours. And, it wasn't until 98 when nostalgia started to kick in again, where people were like, okay, what? I guess I'm tired of grunge. 98, 99 is when Sanctuary and some of those other smaller independent labels started signing these bands and getting them back out there.
Yeah, that's what I found. I think Whitesnake did something very similar to this. If I'm right. One of these bands I was looking into and reading up on, it was something along when the grunge scene came in, it was like, that's what everybody was focused on. This is the new big greatest thing, and nobody wanted to buy it. I was the exception to the rule there.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get onto the grunge scene.
Well, and like I said, I wasn't into this scene. I had already moved on. Like the second it hit, I think I was buying the Nirvana album. And
Right.
I was listening to kind of everything, my parents' music, a lot of new wave, like 70s and early 80s arena rock, hip hop was big for me then, so I was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely was all over the. Well,
you didn't really listen to hip hop.
I was definitely all over the place.
Yeah, except for Anthrax. I'm the man.
I'm the man. No, I loved like Testament and Anthrax and the like that was my big focus when I was in public, because you pose as a high school student. But not that I didn't like those groups. I just if you saw what I listened to at home, it's like, who are you?
Well,
I mean, you guys did. So.
Yeah, I remember you had two different sets of cassettes. You had the road trip kind of cassette tapes that we took with us to Creation and our senior trip, that kind of stuff, where it was 24 of the more well-known stuff. But then you had the other case. Actually, you had more than one case, I thought. Most of the time you kept it in your little plastic holder in your room was the more eclectic stuff. You know, a little bit of country, a little bit of 70s folk. You know, it was more random than, you know, just hard rock.
Definitely. Yeah, like I said, you were talking about liking jazz now, and I remember at one point back in at some point in our past, you said thanks a lot. You got Mindy into your sister into Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah.
and to this day I still listen to him. But
Yeah, she met him.
I was definitely listening to that in high school. But it's cool to see you coming around. So.
Yeah.
But it's not all created equal. I'll give you that.
Right.
Jazz is a very broad stroke.
Right.
So
That's like saying rock. Well, there's 90 different versions of rock.
yes.
um, I'm particular to Herbie Hancock, that 70s piano
Oh
jazz.
yeah.
That's my thing.
Yes.
All right, where were we? I'm sorry. Who's your
All
so
right.
White
White
Lion?
Lion is my. He's and not mid by any means. White Lion was one of my favorites. I would say the Big Game album that came out. That was the one that they say didn't sell all that well, but I honestly really love that album.
Yeah.
I
Well,
never
I mean,
owned the album.
going double platinum to gold isn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right. Like, let me see, Big Game. Let's get crazy. That's going to be my opener.
Okay.
It's going to come out. They're going to come out. They're going to be hear it off in the distance. It's going to be quiet. Let's get crazy. Just vocal. Let's get wild. Anyway, and then everything kicks in. That's what I want to see happen. So this is where I actually put a little effort into it. Well, that being said, I move right into Lady of the Valley, which is a little bit slower off the Pride album. Hungry. Don't Give Up. Tell Me. Wait. Sorry. Broken Heart. Yeah, I don't have a voice today. Sorry, guys. When the Children Cry. It seems kind of, yeah. To me, in a concert, like if you're gonna have a group like this who does the power ballads really well, you got to have those at some point in the middle of the show, and then head out big. So we're gonna throw those slower ones in the middle. When the Children Cry are gonna be there, which goes right well into I'll Join Our Hands. Little Fighter, which I didn't realize was a story like about Greenpeace.
Yeah.
Like a Greenpeace. I didn't realize that until I was making this list. In my mind, in high school, I'm thinking it's just someone who's been going through hard times and they're just down on the luck, and you know, but don't give up, keep fighting. Kind of the same, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you got to put the golden earring cover Radar Love.
I know, it's so amazing. I did not expect it.
This is one of my all-time favorite music videos, just because I'm a car guy.
Okay.
It happens to be a Mustang, but so that was my. And I have 11 songs there. Sorry, but I got to. If we're gonna have an encore, it's got to be Radar Love. So
yeah. It's okay. So this is a discovery for me. I knew of the two big ones. When the Children Cry, I remember that when I was a kid. And Wait. Wait is the closing track of this really cool neo-noir film called Cold in July.
okay.
And at first I thought it was really weird, but I was like, well, the year it's set in, that kind of makes sense, and the storyline's a little bit connected to uh, a life of lies. You know, this false front. It's really good. It's one of my favorites of the last 20 years. But it's also, look, they did sing a lot of ballads, but it never seemed like they were doing it to sell records like a lot of these guys did. This seems authentically who they were. They wanted to sing.
Were storytellers.
God, they were so good. They're equivalent to the country of the late 60s, early 70s, where storytelling was really at its peak.
Right.
And they're talking about very important stuff. A lot of it's about the environment, about treating children properly, treating people properly. And like my opening track is called Cherokee, you know, and it's really talking about, you know, the survival of this tribe and the suffering the people went through. I mean, there is so much more going on with White Lion. This is the great find of the show for me.
There you go.
But Cherokee is my opening track. I can't believe they only had like 2 or 3 hits, like charting hits. I'm talking right now, most of these right here are single worthy, and I can't believe it didn't happen.
That was my problem. When I was looking into this list and I'm looking at their backstory, I'm like, no way. I went through high school listening to all 3 of these albums and thinking these were all great.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah, it's so lost on me. Whatever happened with them? They are like Tesla. They are way better than the album sales and the way the label
Yeah.
had ever treated them. Um, so Cherokee's my opener, and Radar Love. Look, maybe it's a little early in there to do a cover track, and I never really do cover tracks. But good lord, this is a good this is a good cover. They make it their own. That's the one thing I like is when
Yes.
they're not deconstructing it like the way Devo does with some of their tracks. They Devoize them. No, they just put their own flavor on it.
Yeah, and it's still very much recognizable, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Broken Heart, Little Fighter, and then I'm kind of going to the slower songs for a little bit. When the Children Cry, Tell Me, Cry for Freedom,
Yep.
and then Hungry. All these have such deep thoughts going behind the lyrics. He is one of the great lyricists of all time, and I
Oh yeah.
cannot believe that they were just thrown away like they were. Like, and he just kind of walked away too, instead of shifting to another genre, or like a lot of the bands trying to. Uh, they kind of go their own separate ways and try different bands, to see what happens. It usually doesn't stick, and then they come back together.
Yep.
I say All the Fallen Men, Lonely Nights, El Salvador, which wow,
Those
holy
are pretty
smokes,
good.
yeah. Going home tonight, and you think it's over with. The lights go down, and all of a sudden they come back up, and it's wait. That's the closer. um, those I have the most songs from them. They were my closer, but that's not how this show works. All right, so your headliner, Whitesnake.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. Going into this, I didn't think Whitesnake was gonna be my headliner. It was like, and then when you start listening to their backlog, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many hits here that I just didn't realize.
Yeah. Well, and
One
they're
was
two or
Bell.
three different bands too. I was watching a documentary. I don't know if you have Peacock, but there's a documentary series. It's 5 episodes, I think. It's called When Metal Ruled the World, and it's all about the rise of these bands. They really focus heavily on Whitesnake because they're the anomaly. He was older than everybody else. They
Yeah.
were way more experienced. These are members of other bands, or they were session players.
Right.
And he kept shifting and shifting, trying to find that success, that sound that he was looking for. They had been around for what, 8 years before they finally broke through, whereas most of these guys broke through on their first or second album.
If I remember correctly, David Coverdale put together a band, and they like you said, they were session artists to begin with. It was just a band to back up his solo career after he left Deep Purple, and they just meshed. They went together well eventually, and then took off from there.
Yeah,
But
and it's much more bluesy influence in the first few years of their band, and then it was like '84, I think, is when he changes the sound.
I will say I like the bluesy sound, the bluesy rock.
Yeah, so it's and then what's that? Here I Go Again, the one with the video with Tawny Katane writhing all over the car and stuff like that, and that's kind of like everybody's memory of Whitesnake. But they did have other hits.
Yeah, every teenage boy in the '80s was like,
yes. All right, so what is your playlist?
My playlist. Okay, so this is I did go overboard on this one. By 3 songs, but here's what I'm doing. I have to be completely honest. I didn't realize David Coverdale was lead singer of Deep Purple for a few years there, and that he had been around a little bit longer than Whitesnake. And I didn't realize Whitesnake started in the 70s.
Yeah, like 77 or right, something like that.
Anyway, so starting off with "Fool for Your Lovin'," and then leading into I didn't write down the album on this one. "Walking in the Shadow of the Blues," "Don't Break My Heart Again," "Crying in the Rain," "Here I Go Again." Sorry, "Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City," "Only My Soul," and "Belgian Tom's Hat Trick." I did not know this song, and it's a lot of fun. It's very instrumental. It just seems like a good way to go out and just showcase everyone. Except that we're not. What I really find cool about this is that, and they worded it this way, and one of the things I read was like, they embraced their Deep Purple roots.
Okay.
Even though the players if I remember correctly, weren't from Deep Player. The only person from Deep Purple was Coverdale. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry. But it was cool that they were okay. Okay, let's do a whole album of Deep Purple covers. So we're going there. It's the Purple album. I think it was released in 2015.
Oh, okay.
And so the rest of my songs, except for my last one, are all from that album. So I've got Burn, Stormbringer, You Fool No One, and Sail Away. And then to end the set and the show, I'm going to have We Wish You Well.
Yeah, I really tried finding the Coverdale Page album to listen to, but it's been removed from all streaming services. But I remember when we were in high school, that was a big deal. I don't think it was very successful, but I remember just seeing that poster everywhere. It always seemed like it was with that, what's that Pulse album from Pink Floyd? It seemed like it was around that time, where they kept promoting those too. And I have no idea if it's any good, but that's really crazy. Like David Coverdale and Jimmy Page, I'm interested.
I'm interested. And if I can find it, I will be picking that one up.
Yeah. All right.
On vinyl if I
can. I just can't afford vinyl unless I find it used. I've looked at the prices at work and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
All right, what you got?
All right, so Whitesnake is they're tied with Great White. I had 8, and then 13 songs from White Lion, so I only have 8 from Whitesnake. I really thought they were going to be my headliners, and it didn't work out that way. Like, I have to be very selective sometimes with these songs, so, I had to whittle away some stuff.
Well, I'll say I had 8 going into it. Now, I'm not saying I couldn't find a few more.
Yeah.
If I needed to. I am a big Deep Purple fan.
Okay.
From back in the day, thanks to my stepdad and my dad. It just hit me differently, I think. So.
Yeah, I never listened to Deep Purple as a kid. My parents didn't have those albums. All right, so it's Still of the Night is my opener. Slow and Easy. And a lot of these are the singles, I'm sorry. Is This Love, which I think is probably their second biggest one, huh?
Probably.
Wait, that's right. Okay, here it is. Fool for Your Lovin'. Love Ain't No Stranger, which I think might be their best song. I'm not sure. I really like that one. Now You're Gone. Here I Go Again. And then I'm going to throw in a Coverdale single. After they broke up briefly, he did a song for the Days of Thunder soundtrack called Last Note of Freedom, which is really good.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie, though. So it doesn't matter. The song's good.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. All right, everybody, that is it for our playlist. I have an idea of what to do next. I know it's going to be U2, but I don't know who to put with U2 just yet. So that'll be the surprise I have for the next episode. All right, everybody, thank you for listening. Ron, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Keep on rocking.
Be excellent.